Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Lengua de la Liga. Today, we're going to be ranking the top 3 performers at every single position in La Liga this season. We're going to start at goalkeeper. We're going to work all the way up to striker. As we go through this, you guys make sure to drop your top 3 down below in the comments. If you guys like videos about the Spanish top flight, make sure you're subscribed. We have a lot more videos dropping now that the end of the season is upon us. We still have a transfer video to do, team of the season, team grades, and probably something else I'm forgetting. So if you don't want to miss all that content here on Lengua de la Liga, make sure you're subscribed. We'll start with goalkeeper, gentlemen. I'm going to give you all my top 3, and then we can react to it. So at third, I have Marko Dimitrovic from Leganés. In second, I went with Jan Oblak. In third, Joan Garcia from Espanyol. Reactions there.
Respect. Yeah. I have same 3 different order.
Okay.
What's your order?
That's
Actually,
good.
Let's hear it.
So I have Oblak first. I know Jack will point to the second half of the season. I still think he was the keeper of the season. I still think he had too many big moments, bro. You have to look at it the way. Dimitrovic deserves top 2 though. Like this guy, bro. We talked about him in the signings video. We don't have to like talk in circles around that piece. I just keep thinking back to the first Barca match. This man literally he backpacked the shit out of that team. 100%.
I would agree to just the caveat of where they are in the table. Like that's the only thing that's just like,
bro. Just imagine he had slightly better players.
No, for sure, 100%.
The slightest bit, bro.
Or if he was on a different team, right?
Yeah, or on a different team. But you have to think where Leganés would be without Dimitrovic.
Sure,
that's kind of what I think automatically.
If they stay up, I think you can say 2. But if they get relegated, I couldn't go second.
Bro, they would have been relegated already without him. It'd already be over. It'd already be over.
That's valid. But that's why I have him third.
Fair. I think Joan Garcia has surprised me. I mean, look, bro. Sometimes it's hard for me to give credit to Espanyol, bro. I don't know, man. It's something weird. But at the end of the day,
I wonder why.
Garcia we know.
Is one of the most hyped keepers coming out of La Liga this season. Have to give him his flowers. I'm curious as to where he'll end up. That's going to be a big question this summer. But yeah, man. I mean, top 3 shout. Nobody can. I don't think anybody can deny that.
Yeah, I guess I'm a little different.
Hear your top 3.
I guess I'm a little different. So I have Jan Oblak in 1. I'll say just because he's not the most active keeper in the world in La Liga, but when he is, he gets the job done, right? And that's why Athletic are so good defensively as well. Joan Garcia 2 for the same reason you guys have Leganés in 2. I mean, it's just league position. If they're much better, I probably would have put him number 1.
Wait, you have Dimitrovic in 2 or Joan Garcia?
No, Joan Garcia. Joan Garcia.
Okay.
Yeah, if without him, exact same reason, I think they would have been way more in the relegation battle. But number 3 is where I have a little bit different. I kind of I have 2 keepers actually in 3. I put both Bilbao keepers together as 1 because I feel like they have the best defensive record in the league. It should not go unnoticed. Despite they kind of go back and forth throughout the whole season. I think they should be compared into 1. Because I feel we can't not talk about how they conceded the fewest amount of goals, and that's down to obviously the defense as well. But I think they both deserve their flowers, and so I had to give them both 3 here.
Bro, if Michael were here, he would have had a heart attack. I think if you had,
I was about to say, you want to make the Aguirre Zabala argument? I can hear it, but if you want to go Unai Simon, it depends how much stock you put into moments. This is why Oblak is not my number 1. He did not have moments for Atletico Madrid this season. In the past, he has saved us. I mean, I think when we won the league with Suarez, he has a penalty save that literally captures the league for us. He didn't really have those in this season. There's like one game in particular I remember against Celta de Vigo. Dude, it was like match day 7 where we went away. He had some massive saves late. Outside of that, I'm really struggling to think of moments for Jan Oblak. Now, a dark moment, a bad moment is what? It's an error. And if we think of errors and how much they should be factored in, dude, Unai Simon, I don't have this stat, but surely he's the goalkeeper with the most errors. Surely he's the most.
It's been a rough season on that front. But, I mean, I kind of part of me understands the shout because Unai Simon, I don't know, man. Over the last few years, I feel like he's gotten too much hate. I still think like he was hands down the best keeper available to Spain in any way, shape, or form. Maybe that's due to lack of talent around, right? But at the same time, like, yeah, I get it. Bilbao's been, I don't know, kind of in a weird spot. They're still a top 4 team in La Liga, but they've been not nearly as consistent on multiple levels across the field, not just the keeper position this season. So, yeah, I just think Michael would have had a field day, but at the same time, like, I don't mind the shout. I think that for me, the top 3 are clear cut, but I think it's an interesting low key shout.
Yeah, I throw some different in there. Yeah,
yeah, I fuck with that. Yeah.
Does it change anybody's? Does it sway anybody's opinion that Garcia has a better save percentage as well than Oblak, despite facing 15 shots per game, and Oblak faces 2?
Yeah.
Part of me is I think that Oblak's just a better keeper, and maybe that's factoring in too. I really do believe Oblak's just a better keeper. I don't know, bro. It's tough because well, you know better than all of us. Atletico had such a weird second half of the season. You know, we talked about Lo Celso in the last video and how crazy up and down it was from 2024 to 2025. I'm not saying it's like that for Oblak, but he got let down in a number of ways across that back line, either due to injury or just players not performing. But yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough. For the same reasons we want to knock down guys like Dimitrovic and their relegation battle, it's like, I don't know. I feel like Oblak's been let down a little bit too, you know? And if I had to pick between him and Joan Garcia today, it's hard not to pick Oblak. Joan Garcia has a lot of great potential. I can't wait to see what he does, but yeah, I just can't help but pick Oblak.
I agree. You can't compare body work, but if we're just going this season, I don't know, man. I've seen Garcia make some crazy saves for Espanyol, and as much as we're talking about Leganés down there in 18th, so they're not done, but they got to win these last 2 games. Where are Espanyol if Joan Garcia is not there? I mean, they probably, the reason I had them accurately so predicted is comfortably 15th is because of Joan Garcia. If he's not there, man, they're losing. How many points do they drop without him? 8? 7? I mean, they're right down there.
And they're still pretty bad. They're still pretty bad. Like
they're still pretty bad.
They're still pretty fucking bad.
They're still pretty bad, but at least he is good, and that's why I think he's been the best goalkeeper in La Liga this season. If y'all don't have anything else to say,
been their best player? Do you think he's been their best player? That's the bigger question. I'm kind of curious. If he's been their best player, then you know what? Maybe he does deserve a number 1 shout. Like I'll hear that.
But I feel like it's hard to say he isn't.
Well, I think Boado has something to say. Like in my opinion, I think he's done, like, he creates havoc up top in ways that like really nobody else in the team does. So it's like those two. I don't know if he was.
I would say him or Carlos Romero, their left back, have been good.
A little more inconsistent than Boado.
Well, yeah, he's tasked with defending for his life for 90 minutes every.
That's what I'm saying. It's just tough, bro.
You know,
it's a tough.
It's a different ask at Espanyol than at some other clubs. But okay, seems like we got some different top. Well, very similar top 3. Unai Simon, thank God Michael's not here. Irizabala, I hear you. Unai Simon, I don't know, bro. I think I've seen too much. But let's move it on to left back. Andre, why don't you give us your left backs here?
I got you. We'll just go 3rd, 2nd, 1st. My 3rd, my boy, Miguel Gutierrez. One of the only things that Girona has to show for this season. Number 2, your boy, Jack, Javi Galan. And number 1, Cardona.
Man.
Wait, so no Balde? No Balde in your...
He's been hurt. Like the consistency thing for me.
That's the first hater take on the show. It's the first hater take.
Hold on. How many
honorable mention?
No. Balde missed, bro. Hold on.
I can't give Jose fucking 17 players on this list.
He's played 30 games, brother. He's played 30 games.
I like Galan better.
You know what's crazy? He didn't include Balde. And it's not even the craziest shout. It's not even the craziest shout. He put Javi Galan. It's not even the craziest shout.
Holy hell.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, an Atleti left back featuring here.
Dude,
as an Atleti fan, bro, I don't think I can, dude. I can't do it.
All right,
I can't do
it. Fair enough. You're a harsh critic of your own team, I will say.
I've heard Jack yell at Javi Galan too many
times. That's what I mean.
They stabbed me in the heart, bro.
Touch him in the anvil. Touch him in the anvil. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right, Jose, give your top 3. That's
here's the proper top 3. Here's the proper top 3. Now that we got the partial one out of the way. All right. Number 3, Miguel, I do agree with. Bro, this guy, legitimately, he's gone this summer. He is probably the only contributor, both defensively and offensively for Girona. Quite literally the only one, bro. Shout out Donny Van de Beek. He does some work in there. But outside of that, man, there really ain't much else going on. Sergi Cardona is number 2. We talked about it a lot in the last video. It's amazing. We didn't really realize he was a free transfer, but the guy is all over the field for Villarreal. And then you think about the actual number 1. It is Balde, bro. Not even close. Like, Barça is so much better as a team who dominated. I think the majority, there was like a 2-month spell in the middle of La Liga this season where Barça wasn't dominant. But outside of that, they play significantly better with Balde on the field. And Jack said it, what was it, 30 out of 38 matches that he played? Those 8 matches, you probably felt his missing presence the most, I would say. Going from him to Gerard Martin, no disrespect to Gerard Martin, could be one of the biggest downgrades you could have throughout the season, just in general. like the gap between the two players, bro. So Balde is clearly number 1. Clearly, absolutely clear,
bro. If your biggest metric is like vitalness, is that a word? Vitality? No, vitality is something else. Right? Vitality.
That's a different word.
Yeah. That's like, can your body do what you want it to do, or something?
Right. Yeah.
In terms of vitalness, Balde, I think, is the number 1. Well, there's actually another left back that nobody said yet that I think actually might have an argument for here. But he's got to be top 3, man. I can't not have Balde top 3. If he played 15 games, I understand, disqualified, put somebody else in there. But yeah, I got him at number 1. But Elijah, why don't you give us your top 3 now?
Yeah, I got him 1 too. But we'll go back from 3.
I feel most people will.
Yeah. We're thinking with logic. You know.
Okay. That's not our strong suit here.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Facts.
Number 3, I got someone different. I threw in Jose Gaya there. I thought he's had a good second half of the season. Maybe a little biased there for the second half, but I can't complain about him since December in a team that hasn't really had any standout players a whole lot. He kind of turned into that. Yeah,
Umar Sadiq, bro, my man.
By the way,
Sadiq. No, Jack knows ball. Jack knows ball.
I was waiting for somebody to throw his name out there, and I pulled it up just for you guys. Umar Sadiq, second most committed fouls per 90.
Hey, bro, top 3 scorer, Valencia, savior of Valencia Football Club.
Second most, third Gavi.
Don't let anybody tell you different.
Jesus Christ. Well, have you seen the guy run? I'm not really that surprised. He's not the most graceful footballer I've ever seen.
He's good in spite of those things.
No.
Good is strong, but okay.
I agree with everything you guys are saying. This is amazing. Number 2, in the exact same form as Cardona. I mean, he's the way he works with Baena on the side. I love. I like he's my kind of left back. He's just been so good. He's been so good, and he provides so much more than I think people realize. Like Baena, obviously, is one of the most underrated footballers you could say in the world. Obviously, for La Liga, I think Cardona does a lot for him too, and could be in that conversation as well. And the number 1 is Balde. I mean, I just don't know. If you said second for Balde, I wouldn't have been mad. But to not have him on a top 3, I'm sensing is some bias. There's got to be some inherent reason. Yeah,
bro. You know also I just clocked. I also just clocked that Baena's gonna go if the rumors happen. Which, by the way, shout out. There was probably gonna be that video on La Liga on the channel. If these rumors are true, Baena will go from Cardona to Javi Galan.
That's a downgrade.
Not according to Andre. Not according to Andre. This man's leveling up.
That's a downgrade. Is Javi Galan? Is he a Real Madrid academy guy? Andre, what's your soft spot for him?
I don't know. I just like the way he plays. It just eye test.
A good FIFA card or something.
You like the way he plays. I the way he defends Lamine Yamal. I'm in, bro. I'm totally in.
Yeah, fullbacks who get dribbled past. That's your That's your kind of fullback.
I dig him, bro.
Lucas Vazquez, one of your favorite players.
Listen, I was gonna say, compare any of these outside backs to my center or outside backs. I'll take any of them, dude, in a heartbeat. Come on.
I would straight up trade you Fran Garcia for Javi Galan right now. 100%.
I actually
trade you right now.
It's a good shout.
Would you do it for Mendy? Would you do it for Mendy?
No.
He would.
I would trade Javi Galan for Mendy.
No way. He gets hurt all the time, dude. He's made out of glass.
Yeah, that's true. But defensively, bro, he's a freak.
Yeah, for the 8 games he plays every year. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. He's an athlete for the 10 games or whatever he plays.
Javi Galan could be so good, bro. I'm not trying to like dunk on him. He actually could be good. It's just, bro, it's decision making sometimes at this point. It's like, what are you doing, man? Like, I don't know.
I would even argue athleticism at times as well.
Maybe.
He's not the quickest guy.
No, but sometimes he gets caught out because he's trying to cut off a pass, or bro, even the way he's teeing up a winger like Lamine Yamal, like he's sometimes not even forcing him to his right, forcing him to his dominant foot. I'm like, bro, what are we doing? Like, I don't know. It's like I think back to when Barca came back on Atleti 4-2, the most recent one. If you watch him in the last 20 minutes of that game, you're like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know.
The man is a liability. He's a walking liability. Okay, interesting. So we're having a lot of variety here. Oh, Andre,
what are yours?
Go before I give my
yours. Yeah, go.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Okay.
Perfect.
So my first out, and yes, I do have a first out for every position, is Miggy Gutierrez.
Okay,
that's crazy.
Miggy Gutierrez. I think fourth is fair for him. He fell off a cliff in 2025. I don't think he's been Girona's best player. I think Arnau, the right back, has been Girona's best player. And if you look at the actual numbers, the stats, almost every single one of his GA have come against Leganés or Valladolid. I'm sorry, but those teams are going down, bro. So I got to dock you a little bit of points for that. He's missed games, and Girona had the greatest fall that we've ever seen in a single season of La Liga. Yes, I know it's financial. I know it's because they sold players. But Gutierrez, if the guy was really him, they'd probably be in like 14th right now. And instead, they're scraping by because Stuani keeps saving them every single game. And dude's 38 years old, right? So I got him at 4. I think that's fair. At third, I went with Mojica from Mallorca. Mm-hmm. And this is the guy I was referencing earlier. Maybe Michael got in my head too much with this. But I think if you look at how Mallorca play, he is vital to that system. They need their fullbacks to push up and put balls in the box. And if you look at pretty much any offensive stat, Mojica's like 85th percentile or better. He's actually a very good attacking fullback. Ask any Colombian fan. That's always been Mojica's strength. What he's bad at is one-on-one defending. He's much more of like a defend the space and behind because he's super fast, but the dude's built like a twig. So it's like dual percentage tackle success has never been good, ever. But attacking-wise, I think he's been good enough and important enough for Mallorca to be as my third left back here. Which, let's be honest, we said this before. This position kind of dead in the league. Like there's not
overall.
For 2025,
we're having Javi Galan shouts in here. Like that's if Javi Galan is nominated for top 3, bro, the position's cooked. We're cooked.
Which makes the Balde not being selected that much more interesting.
Honorable mention, dude. He's my favorite.
Trust me, I'll tell you, Elijah, it's not a ball knowledge thing, bro. It's legitimately just hate. It is only thing. He cannot make an actual reason for why Balde's not in here, bro.
You could tell this is Elijah's first appearance. He's like, it's an interesting selection. He's actually,
I'm not surprised. Like, I'm not surprised, but it's interesting still.
Yeah, I'm not picking Balde. It like makes sense, bro.
Everybody needs a Stephen A. Smith at some point.
Interesting is like the most respectful rebuttal you can have. Like, interesting. All right, that's interesting.
Well,
Turtley's like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Okay, so I got Miggy at first out, Mojica third. I do have Sergi Cardona at second. Incredible for Villarreal. I do wish he was a bit more consistent near the beginning of the season, but whatever. He's been a great left back, and then I got Balde first. I thought he was probably the most locked in guy in the starting 11 of arguably any position outside of like Rafinha, maybe for left wing, but maybe Rafinha's not an Entree's top 3. We'll have to get to that,
bro. If he's not, I'm walking.
I'm a Leeds
zero
fan.
Barca players are going to be
bro. Like,
I'm a Leeds fan,
all right.
So I have to give it to him.
Let's go to center backs now. Okay, folks, we're doing this a bit differently. We do have tiers of center backs. We have like pairings. So while every other position is only 3 deep center backs, we're going 6 deep. So Jose, why don't you start from tier 3 or your bronze medal pairing and go up?
Yeah, so I kind of did this interestingly, right? Like for me, bro, pairing them up, there's a million different ways you could have done this. Like it's actually like when you try to actually figure out like who your 2 best should be anywhere, it's tough, bro. Because for me, so here I ended up doing a top 5, full transparency. Then I'll do like a top 6. I I think after the 5th person in my list, it takes a hard drop off from my perspective.
Okay.
And so it was hard. So I'm going to say there are probably a few different guys who could pair with this first one. Then I'll give you my next 2 pairings after this. But I think despite the fact Sociedad have had just a weird, complacent mid-AF season, Agüero has actually, I guarantee you West Ham are still thinking and dreaming about Agüero in their back line. Guarantee they are, bro. There's no way. And what I like most about the center back, bro, it's what I like most about any center back. I feel like he gets very underrated because he's not the most physical in the world. I mean, he can be. He's just a great ball playing center back at the end of the day. And I think he offers them something when this super stale midfield, and that includes Zubamendi in there, then the super stale midfield can't get things going. He just sometimes takes the ball upon himself, pushes it in, and finds a way to like get a little more involved. And granted, it still doesn't do that much. If anybody watched the Basque Derby, the last one between Sociedad and Bilbao, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Could be one of the worst games I might have watched all season.
Dead
in the last
footy,
couple
bro.
seasons. Yeah, it was dead, bro. Super dead. So defenders, literally, I'm talking about defenders that were standing out in that game because it's all I got. It's all I got. But Agüero to me is someone that I think needs to be top 5 center back in my perspective in La Liga. I think he was so good this season. So that's like put him with any other good center back that you rate, but it takes a drop off in my perspective. In second, this is an interesting pairing. I think it makes sense. Both pretty physical. One clearly above the other, in my opinion, but I think it makes sense. I'm going to go with Rudiger. I think he was good. I think he had moments where I'm like, bro, decision-making a little bit questionable, but I still think one of the best center backs in La Liga. And this is where it gets controversial. I'm pairing this man. This is so hard for me to do. I'm pairing this man with Dani Vivian. So hard for me to do, bro. It was so hard for me to do. Listen. It's because of who I have in my top pairing. And when I think about the impact, I'll talk about those guys, but Dani Vivian, I've been praising him the same way we all have, to be fair, the entire season. I can't help but think back to, and I know it's a La Liga show, but the Europa League semifinal, bro. In my mind, the ref had a howler, but I'm also in my mind like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like, what are you doing, bro? Like, why are you costing your team at this very moment in the biggest game they have of the season? And again, football's a game of moments for me, bro. I rate moments heavily. They're big for me. Dani Vivian is. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was informed that this was La Liga only.
La Liga only.
Anthony would be my number 1 right winger in my list.
La Liga only. I put that caveat out there. I know it's La Liga only. With that said, I still think the top pairing that I have is Barca's pairing. Is Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez. I think that Inigo, if we did that video of the top signings a year or two ago, Inigo is clearly like one of the most underrated signings in recent La Liga history. It's not even close. Like, not even close.
That's valid.
Yeah, he is. I mean, it's crazy how quickly he elevated over the guy Barca fans were standing for in Araujo for I don't know how many years now, 2-3 years now. So quickly, bro, at his age and everything else. And when he's not in the lineup, Barca feels it all the way around, even with that suicidal high line everybody says that we play. So yeah, man, that's it. I think Cubarsí and Inigo Martinez, two best center backs in the league.
You think Dani Vivian made more mistakes than Cubarsí?
I'm not going to base it off of mistakes because here's why. Barca's high line will invite that. You have to, context is super important. It will invite the opportunity for mistakes. So
how many mistakes in a high line equal a red card against Manchester United in Europa League?
What? That's
how many mistakes in a high line? No, I'm just trying to see because you're saying that he made a mistake, which I agree. Yeah. But you and I both were in agreement that it was also a harsh red. But okay,
it was a harsh red. It was a harsh red. But at the same time, he's reaching out to somewhat form tackle the player. I will say, like at the end of the day, Cubarsí's mistakes would be like the level of a missed pass or a touch that he wanted to go a certain way. I don't see a scenario where Cubarsí is like putting his team in that position that way. He's had one red card and it hasn't been in La Liga.
Right. But Vivian's red card wasn't in La Liga either.
Yeah, I know. Again, that's what I'm saying. I'm pulling some of that stuff in. It is what it is.
Penalty against Lautaro in the Champions League.
Yeah. I still think it was a good ass slide, bro. Like I said, to me,
Sorloth beats him for Atletico's winner.
Super clean
in the league.
Super clean.
Had to throw that one in.
You can say what you want. You want to base it off mistakes, base it off mistakes. At the end of the day, I know I cited that one, but I look at Cubarsí, I look at Vivian, and I rate Kubarsi higher. And I think it's much closer than you guys will probably paint it out to be.
If I had to put you on the spot and I said you have to give Aguerd a partner, who would you say?
Ooh, Aguerd a partner? Might be Inigo. No bullshit. The former.
Well, Inigo's your number one.
Yeah. I don't have like a number one. I've never
can't put him on twice.
Yeah. You're saying in general.
Third. Yeah, I'm saying in
question
general.
outside. Okay, so outside top three, Aguerd a partner. Honestly,
you
man,
me up there. I was like, is there another Inigo? Is this
no.
I know. I was thinking.
I thought you meant irrespective of top three. Irrespective of top three.
Okay.
So with top three excluded, I would say, bro, this one's close, man. Because I think when you look at, there's a drop off. That's the only thing. Give me, bro. No, part of me was like, give me Juan Foyth, someone like that. But like,
okay.
Like, I don't mind that shout. I don't mind. Like, if I'm pairing those two together, I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. Like, I think he's underrated too. I think Juan Foyth is a very versatile center back that most fans don't rate.
Okay, fair enough. Elijah, why don't you give us your tiers here?
Yeah, I was in the same boat where I put 5 for the center backs, but I think you can throw, depending on who you ask, you can throw Raul Asensio maybe in that last 2, in the third place spot. I think.
I know you hate him, Jack.
Depends who's above him. I'm gonna let you finish.
I think if not this season, I think if this video's done next season, I think he I wouldn't say a lock, and obviously you have Haji said coming in too, but given him more time, I think it'd be a bigger shout. I'm not saying he deserves to be in and around the conversation. I'm okay if you don't put him in there, but I think he deserves to be in around there. And then I think Aguerd is a good shout alongside him. But I mean, he's right. I mean, after the top 5, it's kind of. They're all good. It's just too equal to like put a difference. Like none of them are that obvious top 6 defender in the league. I feel like
they're not him.
I got the same top 4, but second tier I have Rudiger. I have a soft spot for him. I'm a Chelsea fan. For those who don't know, I'm a big Rudiger fan. But I put Kubarsi in second, alongside Rudiger. And I mean, he's right. It's very, very close. There have been like the top defenders this year have been fantastic. And so you could put the top 2 Barca in top 2, but yeah, I threw Kubarsi in second, just because I think Vivian has to be the number 1. He's been so good, and I'm a little affectionate towards Bilbao today, obviously after the whole goalkeeper thing.
Nice Simone, bro. Nice Simone.
Some double agent work going on here.
Yeah, well,
man's repping Betis, but he's actually an Athletic Club fan.
If I could have repped more Betis today, I would have. But we have maybe 2 players in the conversation today.
Dude, I was waiting for you to say Nathan. I swear to God, I was like, Nathan's going third tier for you.
No,
Mark Bartra. No.
Dude,
hey, shout out Mark Bartra, bro. Shout out Mark Bartra.
He's so much healthier. Okay, he's good, but I think Betis has been too shaky defensively overall for me to be confident in putting any one of them in this list. But for the exact opposite reason, I think Vivian has to be number 1. I mean, I feel like you cannot have a Bilbao center back up there while also having the fewest goals conceded. Yeah, the best defensive record. I think he's a big reason why they're there. So yeah, him and then obviously Inigo Martinez has just been lights out. I mean, no one, if you bet on this, buy a lottery ticket, because like no one expected him to be this good, and like you could see it. Like if you went back and told me, I wouldn't be the most surprised, but it came out of nowhere. He fully deserves to be up there.
Let me ask you guys: does you look backwards? Do we have to, like, I don't know, ask questions of Xavi as a manager for him barely giving Inigo any time and really focusing on Araujo being the core piece of that back line?
I would say
there's a lot of questions about Xavi in general, but yes, I would say it has something to do with it, right? I mean, the man was trying to ostracize Rafinha. They wanted him gone. Rafinha was in the dumps. Like, so just overall, the relationship that he has with players, I think Flick literally just flipped the switch, and he just, related to the players.
He also has miles of experience.
And he has the experience. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. He's done it before.
But he didn't have the clout of Araujo.
No.
And I think that was what probably didn't help Inigo. I mean, he's a free transfer.
Right.
So there's no pressure to play him. He was clearly brought in as a depth piece. Araujo there was a time when many considered him like top 3 center back
in the world.
And if he wasn't right now, he was going to be soon. So I think Xavi was probably aware of that. I'm sure there maybe is some upstairs pressure as well. Like, hey, we paid money for this guy. You got to play him type thing. That's probably more of an NBA thing. I'm not sure how much the front offices get involved in club football, but you get what I'm saying. There was no pressure to play Inigo. If he didn't play, no one was asking questions because you spent no money on him. So he's kind of out of sight, out of mind. Whereas Araujo is like, oh, the next great Uruguayan center back, right? Like he could be better than Godin. I mean, that was the conversation. Really and I was pissed when you guys signed Inigo. I wanted him at Atleti so freaking bad.
The culture.
Oh my god, dude!
I think personality-wise, he fits Atleti perfectly. Yeah. He's a very vocal, very in-your-face leader. Yeah, just a dog.
He's
mentality.
A dog.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think bro, it's crazy that he's probably I would say if it's hearing Elijah give his take, it makes sense, bro. I think we're splitting hairs between Cubarsí and Dani Vivian. I think the 2 best individual center backs in the league are probably Inigo and Vivian. But I think the pairing of Inigo and Cubarsí is elite. And I don't think any pairing even around Europe can beat that.
The best thing that happened to Inigo was not that Flick joined Barcelona, but that Araujo got hurt. Because then you start shining and you take the moment. You're like, fuck it.
Not just Araujo. Inigo might have been further down the pecking list too, because Christensen also got hurt at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So it's like
maybe something in practice. I don't know.
Yeah. I think what Flick probably saw was his ball distribution for how he wanted to play. Like his long ball's actually super underrated. I feel like many fans don't talk about that. I think that's okay, he's physical enough at his age where the demand, he can handle it. He can handle the demand. And I think Flick was worst case scenario. We have a good foundation that we can kind of just go out there with until guys are back. And it worked out so damn well that it's like, hey, I'm running with this the rest of the season. There's no way I can get away from this. So I don't know, man. Araujo, it's crazy. He's probably gone. He's probably gone this summer if Barca's smart about it.
Yeah. To go back to the Xavi thing real quick, hindsight's 2020. Obviously, I feel like at the time, it's really hard for me to say that he was wrong for picking Araujo over Inigo, because, like you said, I mean, Araujo at the time was that guy. He did have the best outlook of almost any center back in world football. And Inigo was brought on. It's like in Full Manager. I don't know if you guys play Full Manager, but or even Career Mode, you bring him on as an impact sub or a squad player, and that's kind of how you play him. Unless you really need to. So I feel like Xavi had the mindset to just not play him. He didn't care because they brought him on as that kind of player. And he won a title with him too. That's another thing too. It's when you win any kind of a championship, you do have your old reliables. And I will say, Araujo wasn't even back then wasn't the craziest consistent defender. Anybody who actually watched game by game would know that. All the PR from his shutdown of Vinny, over the Clásicos, it's basically what he rode on, was kind of just his 1v1 ability. So yeah, man, I agree with you. Hindsight is 2020. It's just you have to almost sometimes ask the question.
Yeah, I don't think you can crucify Xavi for that decision. I think it's more of also the systems are not even remotely the same. Barca was playing dead footy under that man, and Hansi Flick is the most must-watch footy in the world. So Araujo, all of his deficiencies are exposed inside Hansi Flick's system. It's not like Araujo sucks. He just can't do what his manager is asking him to do. He could go to Juventus, and I wouldn't be shocked if he breaks in there. He could go to even Atleti maybe. And with our current center backs, he probably is a starter. But that's because Simeone CBs and Hansi Flick CBs are not doing the same thing. And our CBs are dead. I'll go through mine here. In my third tier, I also have a Gerd. Really, really hope that move becomes permanent because goddamn Sociedad need him. I'm going to put respect on Omar Alderete. I got him in tier 3. I know Getafe played terrorist ball, but still, watch this man play. Physically so imposing. In the air, he's got to be one of the better center backs in all of La Liga. Rarely puts a foot wrong. It's not easy to just defend and never make mistakes. And I think Alderete is good at that. And then, of course, you see him with Paraguay and you see the other things he can do, but that's not what he's asked to do at Getafe. But I still think he's been a very good center back, and I pray that Atleti pick him up in the offseason. Tier 2, I've gone with Rudiger as well. He had a couple Rudiger moments, but you've come to expect those. And I haven't partnered with Kubarsi. I think Kubarsi's been good, but in tier 1, Danny Vivian, I still think he's been the best CB in La Liga this season. And I think Inigo's been a freak, man. Yeah. He's been a freak. And I think compared to Kubarsi, if you look at like who's had better moments, who's made fewer mistakes, because we're talking about fingernail margins here, I think Inigo's been better than Kubarsi in the league. So I think those two guys have to be my starting CBs.
Good shouts. Good shouts. I will say, in Getafe's system, you mentioned Alderete. Literally, the two best players, bro, are like their center backs and their center defensive mids. Them and like Arambari are probably like their best dudes, and it's kind of crazy. I mean, it makes sense for Getafe ball, but yeah, it's a good shout.
Yeah. I don't know who's going to win their player of the season, but I would imagine it might be Arambari. Is that his name? The midfielder.
Yeah, Arambari. Yeah,
it might be him because he's like he just starts the counter like every single time. Or Luis Mika, I think, is the other guy who just very vertical every single time. But Alderete might win it. He might win it. And they're a good defensive team. I know tactics play a big part there, but
for that last ball.
I think he's a stud. I really think he's one of the better buys in the CB market right now. Not for flick ball. I don't think he could play in that system either, but for something a little more slow paced. Oh yeah.
Let him eat. I like it. Andres?
Well, pretty similar. I think the only shout for my third place or my bronze medal pairing, Marc Bartra. You guys already heard it. One for the hipsters. You're welcome, Elijah. I just like the guy. I don't know why. He's one of the very, very, very few former Barca players that I can stand. So give him
face card. Flowers. That was.
he's just legit, dude. I don't know. I like him a lot. So Bartra, even after the Gareth Bale incident, but
I knew he was gonna bring that shit up, bro. I knew he was gonna bring that shit up. Any chance to bring that up? Anyway, go ahead.
And then my second and first, Rudiger, Kubarsi, and then Inigo Vivian. I will say the Asensio shout is really interesting because you could throw him in there in the top 6, top 5 general vicinity.
Is it weird to say I think he's a slide tackle merchant? I think the PR around his ability to break up certain passes with a crazy slide tackle and the passion that comes afterward, trying to channel his inner Sergio Ramos, is why people think he's a top center back. But I feel like if you actually watch him, only him, as the game progresses through its phases, it's not like he's bad. He's good. I just wouldn't say he's a top center back in the league.
His footwork is better than people think. Is the only thing that I watched him every single game and I was scared, not gonna lie. We had 7 total defenders in infirmary with him included at the end. But when he had to slot into that center back pairing, I was like, holy shit, here we go.
Madrid just signed Huijsen, and I think he replaces Asensio right away. I think.
I mean that's a no-brainer. But we're talking about this past season and what he did for a very broken back line for us, and he was one of the very few things that I feel proud of for the season. So it's not.
Yeah, I wouldn't call him a slide tackle merchant.
That's too
he's
far.
Just he's a pretty raw center back, I would say.
Yeah.
Like he's got a lot of like rough edges, which is to be expected. So not everybody is like Kubarsi and is like more refined at the age of 17. That's pretty rare. But I still think Asensio's ceiling is super high.
Yeah.
I just want to highlight.
Oh, good.
Nobody has an Atletico Madrid CB mentioned. Mr. Simeone, the dark arts defensive masterclass, Miranda and Godin of times past, and we don't have one goddamn mention of anybody. This is why we didn't win the league, bro. This right 100%. Here. Mark Bartra shouts over.
When you lose to Osasuna, 2-0.
But I will say, like, in that game that he just pointed out, it kind of defeats my point a little bit. But I will say, you guys are the inverse this season. Like I have never seen Atleti this, I guess you could say, dangerous going forward on a consistent basis for the most part. Second half of the season, Jack, throw it aside, bro. I get it. Collectively, you guys, in big moments, dropped a lot of points, whatever. But there's more to you guys offensively than there used to be. Like it's not even close. Like the Dark Arts FC may be dead, but it's still a really good team.
That's why the game's gone. Game's gone.
It's gone, dude.
That is why the game's gone. Andre, why don't you bring us into right back here? Bro, I swear, if there's one player that's not in your top 3 after the Balde thing.
What do you mean, dude?
Here we go. Right. Here we go.
Let's see. So top 3 for right back. I'm gonna give my boy Aramburu a shout. he's pretty solid. I mean, if we're talking about Real Sociedad,
he's your third?
Yes, he's my third.
Oh, next two should be interesting.
Number 2, another former Barcelona player that I give his flowers to, Mingueza. He's my boy. He's a baller. Even though it's a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, whatever they play, then he's kind of like an RM, really. Like it still counts. And then number 1, Jules. Have to give.
I thought you were gonna say Lucas Vazquez. No bullshit. I really thought you were
Oh, dude, come on.
Even the biggest troll could not make an argument.
Yeah, exactly. There's no fucking way.
Even in the top 3, I would say.
But could you imagine Andre having Javi Galan and Lucas Vazquez in his top 3? Bro,
no ball there.
Dude, that's dribbled past FC right there. Getting cooked every single.
It's not a bad 3. Not a bad 3. The order is a little shifty for me, but I still think the 3 players are solid.
It's interesting. All right, this one we're gonna have a lot of differential here. Jose, why don't you give us yours next?
I have the same 3, different order. So I think Mingueza to me, and there's a drop off from 3 to 2. Like I will say that's a caveat here. Mingueza is really good. I don't like the rumors that I hear between like Celta and Barca, though. I don't like it. I think that's kind of my reason for putting him 3. I think he's a good right back. He offers a lot moving forward. He's actually a converted center back at the end of the day. So for me, some of the movements still quite aren't there for him. And he's not Aramburu, who I have at 2. I think Aramburu has been lights out as a right back. And again, maybe this is some of the fact that, again, this position, bro, it's so shallow. It's so shallow at the end of the day. Like fullbacks, there just aren't a ton of super high quality ones. But yeah, Koundé, I mean, I don't think anybody can argue. Koundé is most consistent. What do you think about minutes, level of play? He's had some negative moments here and there, but they're very rare. So I feel like a center back being asked to play that position and do it as well as he has. Yeah, man, clear number 1 for me.
Okay. Elijah, I'm sorry. I'm going to skip you because I don't have Aramburu in my top.
Me neither.
Wow.
You don't? Okay, then I'm going back to you.
Right.
You take it. All right, let's go.
You're going to like this one. I got Llorente in 3. And this is the least right backy right back list I've ever made.
My first out.
I've been waiting for some ball knowledge on this show.
He just he's so good we don't talk about him anymore.
Interesting.
All right. Noted.
I hear you.
Llorente, like I said, he's been good for years now. That we just he's everywhere, right? Like it's you don't think of Llorente having a position. He's just Marcos Llorente. That might be a result of FIFA, but still, he's everywhere and he does the job well for like we said, a backline that doesn't have any center back shots. So Llorente's there. I think he gets his number 2. I think I consider not just because he's not the truest right back out there, and he does way more attacking than he does defensively, and I think he has a lot to make up for defensively. But he's been good enough where he should be involved in the list. And then Koundé is just number 1. I mean, there's just no other way you can put anybody else in front of Koundé.
Yeah, Koundé's got that, I think, in a headlock right now.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna go my 3 now. I had Aramburu as my first out.
Okay.
And the reason I don't have Aramburu top 3 is because Sociedad, as a collective, but also Aramburu as an individual, off a damn cliff since Christmas. I got a stat here, man. In 2024, Real Sociedad conceded more than 1 goal 5 times. Only more than one goal only 5 times out of 18 games. In 2015, they've done that 8 times out of 18 games. And in 4 of those games, it's been 3 goals or more. They had 0 games in 2024 when they conceded 3 goals or more. 0. They've had 4 in 2018. They've lost 9 of their 18 games this year. A 50% loss rate. That is shambolic. And when I'm watching Aramburu now, I don't know if it's because everybody knew Zubamendi was going to leave or what the reasoning was, but Kubo hasn't been good. Aramburu hasn't been good. Zubamendi, Alex Ramiro hasn't been good in goal.
Do you mean Aramburu hasn't been good moving forward, or do you mean all around? I still think, like, across the entire season, his defensive actions haven't. They've taken a slight drop off, sure, but he's still been pretty consistent. It's the moving forward part that I agree with you on.
He has no attacking game, like, at all.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is that like in the modern day of a fullback, I understand, but I still feel like Aramburu defensively, bro, it's a symptom of like where that team is all the way around. Like if you were to even just for the stat merchants out there, I think he's still like in the top 5% of the league in like defensive actions and things like I don't know, man. I still think he makes good decisions on the field. I don't know. To me, he's clearly a top 3. I actually think there's a drop off after him. That's pretty significant.
I think I didn't make this argument, but if you want to argue Arnau from Girona against him, I think Arnau's got a really good. You want to talk about a team that sucks ass and a guy who's still doing his thing for that team. You could point to him. I didn't have him because I think Aramburu was that good in 2024. Like if we did this on Christmas Day, there was actually a debate like him or Koundé. That's how good Aramburu was. But just Sociedad have basically like deleted themselves from La Liga since then. And so that's why I think he dropped all the way down to 4th for me. And I was really searching for people. It's like, okay, who's been a little more consistent the entire season? Full transparency, Minguesa's not in my list because I don't think right back is his position with the most appearances. I think he's played like 7 games as a right back. But he's played left back, left mid, right wing, right back. So I didn't really know where to put him.
Hasn't Celta changed their formation quite a bit? Because didn't they go to like 3 in the back, and then he was kind of that right center back of the 3 that was still finding ways to like push up and contribute. I don't know. It's like you're right, but I feel like the actions are still somewhat the same.
Yeah. I think Minguesa is a great shout. I just didn't consider him a right back.
That's fair.
I'm just telling you that's why he didn't make my list. You're right. He was even a right-sided center back for a couple of games as well. So he's like Llorente times 2. At 3rd, I wanted to give another guy a shout that I don't feel like we've given a lot of flowers here. I went Pablo Maffeo from Mallorca. Again, I think defensively very close. You want to talk about defensive performance? I think he's close to Aramburu in terms of that like one-on-one defending potential. And I think, again, for Mallorca, man, if they actually had anybody offensive and it wasn't Kyle Larin up top, he'd probably have better GA and he'd probably have prettier stats to look at. And we'd be like, oh, my God, look at Maffeo. He's doing his thing. But I think he's been consistent, again, for a Mallorca side that absolutely needs their wingbacks to push up and attack and also sprint the hell back and defend. And I think Maffeo does that well. I don't think he's a world beater, but I think total body of work probably deserved to edge Aramburu a little bit. I got Llorente 2nd. He does have the majority of his games. I did look this up. The majority of his games are at the right back position. And I think he's been not his best season for Atleti, but certainly when you compare it to our center backs and you compare it to our left backs, I think he's been our best defender. And so for Atleti's best defender, I have to have him in my top 3 somewhere. I don't care if it was a CB. I don't care if it was a left back. They have to make it somewhere on here. And I think Llorente's been the best one. So he's 2nd, but Koundé's 1st. Nobody's taking Koundé's spot.
Jack has more Mallorca players than Atleti players right now. This is crazy. Crazy lineup so far.
I think I'm 2-2. I think I'm 2-2 right now.
Yeah, you got Oblak. You're right. You're right. 2-2. Damn, but still, Maffeo and Mojica, they're in there, bro. They're punching.
Dude, dual Mallorca fullbacks team of the season.
They're in there.
Second place. Or Mojica was 3rd, but anyways,
Mojica's 3rd,
that might have been the most amount of names we've mentioned so far for a position. Quite interesting. Yeah. All right, whose turn is it for CDM?
I'll take it. I can take it.
All right, take it.
I think this one we're gonna have a lot of difference on. I feel like CDM is very subjective nowadays, just because the role of CDM is just so different. My number 3 is Jade Gizar. He's had a good season. He's still very young. I think he deserves to be in there in some capacity. Yeah. I got number 2. Finally, I have a Betis player in this freaking list. Is Johnny Cardoso. I think he's been very, very good.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You know, he's probably gone this summer, which I hate. Yeah, because he's going to go to either United or Tottenham. But he's been very, very good in a Betis midfield that needed a player like that don't really have much. I mean, yeah, Los Oso and Isco, but Isco gets so far up the pitch. Los Oso is half the time there, half the time not. Johnny's been pretty consistent, so I can't knock him. And then number 1 is Zubamendi. I mean, it's not even his best season at Sociedad, and he's gone. Obviously, he's going to Arsenal now, but he was still good enough to put him at number 1. But like I said, it's really hard just because so many players you could say are CDMs, but are really not. Either they drop too far deep.
I have one of those on my list.
Yeah. So it's pretty hard. I think, like I said, a lot of difference here. But yeah, those are my top 3 right now.
Nice.
Good list. That's a good shout. Those are good shouts for sure.
Thank you.
Jose, let's hear yours.
I want to hear yours.
No, I want to hear Jose first.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I have two of the same three. My top one is one of those profiles that just doesn't fit a CDM, but on paper, that's what he plays. So Cardoso's number 3 for me. I think Johnny Cardoso, man, USMNT shouts. But I think just like Elijah said, add something to that midfield they didn't really have. Yeah. And it's crazy. What are the links that Cardoso's getting right now?
Well, Tottenham have the buy clause.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. And United are looking at him too, but it's probably going to be Tottenham.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he lands. And I'd be curious to see how he not that I haven't seen his physical play, I have, but there's going to be a lot more to that they'll have to show with his game. So that'll be very interesting. Zubimeni, number 2, I think it's still a down season for him, and he's still a top 2 defensive mid for me. That is a symptom of Sociedad as a whole. We can't. He'll move on, and I think I don't know. Zubimeni's great at controlling games. I still think he needs to make up some of the gaps with the physical side of his play. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then the Barca agenda reigns supreme, guys. Frankie de Jong is number 1 for me, but he's not a tried and true defensive mid. I thought of just the 3 center mids and how I would want to set those up. But Frankie, to me, especially the back half of the season, like the first half was so shaky with him coming off of the injury. Casado, depending on who we were playing, almost fit Barca better than Frankie, especially in some of the big European matches, like Bayern and whatnot. Again, I was a La Liga show. But I think it was just Frankie being slow coming back from his injury. I think once Flick decided how he wanted to use him, the best pairing in Europe, in my opinion, has been Frankie and Pedri. So I feel like Frankie, to me, not a tried and true defensive mid, but that's kind of the role that he has to play in the system. So I'm giving him number 1.
Interesting. I had Zubimendi as number 1, but I don't know.
Bro, Zubimeni's number 1 defensive mid in La Liga. This league's cooked. That's all I'm going to say. For this season, anyway.
So yeah, the league's cooked. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay.
That's crazy.
All right, so you got Zubimendi 1?
I do. Yeah.
Give me your 2 and 3.
Cardoso 2, and then the Athletic Bilbao boy number 3 as well. So
Yeregizar.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay.
Frankie just. Shit. I mean, I hear the shouts, and I do like him a lot. I think he's a fantastic player, but. Again, you even said at the beginning, right, Jose? He's not really a CDM. He's not really a 6. You can interchange all those midfielders, and it makes sense. But he's more of an 8.
It throws that off. You know what I mean? Like you almost don't have a defined double.
Exactly. That's why it's hard to
in the midfield. It's just like
it's a blurred line for sure.
Yeah, they do it in tandem. Okay. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
All right, I'm about to blow this shit up. So, I actually, based on what he was asked to do for his team, I actually considered Fede more of a 6 this season than an 8.
We play a weird.
That's a weird.
4-4-2 sometimes.
Yeah. I consider him an 8. I consider him.
He's an 8. He's my 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
If he's an 8, then my CM position will have to be readjusted. But it's okay because I have a first out just for this. At 3rd, I do have Pablo Barrios from Atletico.
That's a good show.
Good show.
That's a good show.
Pretty solid, but again, some really, really stupid errors. That's probably
He's young.
Comes down to lack of experience. I know, but I'm not going to put him number 1 for that. I think he and Conor Gallagher and Koke together all hurt each other. It's too much redundancy. They're all good at like the same thing. Koke is the best passer of the group, but even his progressive passing has gone way down the toilet. Gallagher and Barrios cannot play together, and they do all the time. Big issue. That's an Atleti issue, not really a Barrios thing, but I do think who he's paired with has affected his performance. At number 2, I have Santi Comesaña from Villarreal. I think if you look at how Villarreal play, that dude is often by himself in the middle of the pitch, wins the ball back, turn, long ball to Nicola Pepe, or long ball to Alex Baena. He is extremely important. Sometimes Parejo helps him out as well to do that. I think Pape Gay is also like kind of a CD. He's an 8, but like much more of like a CDM figure as well for Villarreal. But I think Comesaña has been really, really good this season. And in first, I have Johnny Cardoso. I think he's been the best 6 in the league. I don't think Zubimendi's been that good, man. I'll be honest. I don't see the control. I get it. His team sucks. I get it. I don't care. When I watch this guy, I'm not like, that dude is bossing the field. He's doing everything he can. I don't see it. Like, I guess I'd have him at 4th now. Maybe I'd replace. I had.
Do you feel like it's due to Bryce Mendes and Illich just not like doing anything with what he gives them? I think sometimes it's a symptom. You know, I don't think he's like the cause of how that whole midfield looks, bro. I don't know. I hear what you're saying because I haven't been as impressed with Zubamendi this season as I have been in recent seasons, but still, I like true defensive mid. He's probably the one true defensive mid in all of our lists, if we're being honest. Even the guy,
Barrios is pretty true defensive mid. Barrios.
Barrios. But yeah, I guess that's true. To me, I still see him much more box to box. Like he's so active. You know, like him and DePaul when they play together, like they're kind of like it's not like I see Barrios clearly staying back. Like he does get a little more involved at times. He's young too. I don't know, man. I think Barrios is a great shot. He's probably my first one out, if I'm being honest. So yeah, these are a lot of blurred lines.
Can I counter that the Sociedad thing? Because we've talked about this a few times.
Sure.
I get it that Sociedad are underperforming. I think all of us are in agreement there. Mm-hmm. But surely we're also all in agreement that team is still pretty freaking good.
Oh yeah.
Like, does anybody look at Sociedad and they're like, God, you know, if only they had Osasuna's talent level, they'd be a little bit better. If you do a combined Osasuna Sociedad 11, it's 9 Sociedad guys. With all due respect to Osasuna, the team is pretty freaking good. Sucic, Mendes, Aramburu, Kubo, Oyarzabal, Sergio Gomez, Merino, Aguirre. It's a good team, and nobody looks good. Nobody looks good. No. I'm sure Aguacil has a part to play in that 100%. But again, if Zubamendi was really him, if he was really that guy, if he was really the best CDM in the league right now, he would still have enough pieces around him to get them looking solid. And I don't think he's done that outside of maybe like, I don't know, a decent game against Atleti once this season. I don't think he's done anything. I think he's got a lot to prove next season that he's really the guy. He's circled on my calendar for 2026. I need to see something from him.
For me, he's just one of those. Maybe
like he's mentally he's gone already. Because I think
him and the whole team,
the whole trend. Well, I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe it could be. I mean, is he not their best player besides Kubo? I feel like he's probably their best player besides Kubo. So
he'd have to be.
Yeah. So I feel like the fact that everyone knows he's probably gone, especially after the transfer saga last year and how he ended it.
Sergio Gomez has been way better than him this season. If we're going most talented,
but I'm just saying their best player, and like irrespective of season, like I just feel like their top 2 players are Kubo and Zubi. Like in my opinion,
talent wise,
you know, I guess you say
talent wise, yes, but performance, I don't think he's a top 2 player. I think you could argue Aramburu is even above him, and Zubamendi's 4. I mean, you could argue Aguirre's been better. You could argue Zubamendi is far down as 5 for the talisman of Sociedad. I'm not buying the propaganda.
Based on form, yes.
Not buying the propaganda.
You don't have to. I think at the end of the day, they'll tell you. I think they will tell you. Their fan base who sits there and watches the games week in and week out, irrespective of who they're playing, will probably tell you Zubi's a top 2 player.
Yeah.
I never met a Sociedad fan in real life, so I can't. I would love, if you're watching and you're a Sociedad fan, hit us up, dude. We'd love to have you on. Zubamendi, not quite on fraud watch for me, but I'm not giving any flowers for this season. Okay. Center mid now? Who's going first on this?
I can take it again. I'll take it again.
Go for it.
Okay.
This one was tough too. I think this one was really
very
tough. Number 3, I have Luis Milla from Getafe. I think he could be in and around there.
Damn.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like
that's
this.
the most hipster
you
thing.
Could throw in.
No, it is the most hipster thing we've heard.
Besides
in a long time
from Mallorca.
In Mojica.
Holy shit. Okay.
You could throw De Jong in there. And honestly, I hadn't given him too much thought ahead of this, but he deserves to be in and around. I think just Pedri just overwhelms his importance, I would say, for the midfield. Not to say that he doesn't have any, but Pedri just does so much. Number 2 is Fede. Valverde. I mean, like you said, he's everywhere. You can put him in the 6 if you want. You could at one point even put him in the right winger spot. But he's been lights out. And again, another one of those players where we don't really talk about anymore, just because he's just like consistently a great player. But number 1, I think if anybody has a different number 1 than Pedri, we have to end the video. It's obviously Pedri. It just has to be. And I'm gonna say, like, I feel like the Barca midfield could have been better. Like, I don't even think the Barca midfield was amazing.
When you say midfield, the 3 or the 2? I think the 2 were arguably the best in Europe. I hear the 10 shout being better. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think The two were really good. As the three, I don't know. A lot left to be desired, especially for Barca, where that has a lot of pride in the midfield, and has been a big part of their success for the past couple decades. I just feel like the midfield as a whole obviously is probably the weakest out of the three spots on the field for this season, despite how good they've been. And I guess maybe that's more representative of the rest of the pitch for Barca, but I think Pedri has been just that good. Yeah. So those are my top three. But Luis Milla, man, I might have to get his kit. I don't know. I just really like him in the center mid spot.
Interesting. All right, Andre, I want to hear yours.
I'll go pretty straightforward here. My third, Rodrigo de Paul, the boy. Pretty solid. He honestly has been one of the best, most consistent players for Atleti, and we don't talk about him enough. But Jack, I know you rate him highly. He's a solid player. So I went to Paul, and then number 2, Fede Valverde. I really wanted to go number 1, but there's just you can't beat Pedri. So those are my top 3.
Okay, totally.
I would have given Lo Celso shouts if he wasn't
don't worry about it.
Don't
even worry about
it. When we did this, you don't know this, Elijah, but when we did this halfway through the season, Lo Celso was wasn't he our 1 or number 2
signing of the season?
I think sign of the season, yeah, something like that. So
yeah,
it's crazy how good he was in 2024. It's actually crazy how good he was.
I think he was 12 on our MVP list or something at December. Maybe he wasn't that high. I don't know. It's on the channel. You guys can find that.
And then Isco came back and Lo Celso just took the back seat.
He just balled out.
Yeah.
The true GOAT returned. Yeah.
Of course.
You know what, man? I respect Elijah's Luis Milla shouts. I think I had a hipster first one out on this one. I actually and Jack might appreciate this. Talk about Mallorca players. I actually thought Sergi David was actually subtly very good. When you watch him play, I think he's
eye test.
Yeah, he definitely is an eye test guy. You actually have to watch him play and see what he offers. But I feel like the way he links up the back line to chance creation, he's had, bro. And really, it's in the biggest moments, because there's some games against the bottom relegation 3 where I'm like, bro, these are the games where I put you to ball out and I don't see it. But then he'll show up against Sociedad, and he'll show up against Luka Bacchio tearing it up by himself for Sevilla. He's still finding a way to link stuff up. I don't know. I think Sergi David was actually pretty good, and I would take him as a depth piece, even at Barca. I really would. I think he's been that good. First one out. But I think this one's pretty similar to Andre's. DePaul, for me, an underrated passer of the ball. It's crazy. Nobody talks about that.
Extremely.
Everyone talks about his passion and his mentality and this and that, Argentina and Atleti. And I'm like, bro, he's actually an insanely good passer of the ball. He's probably the only one in that Atleti midfield who can do what he does. I don't think there's anybody else who could do what he does. So DePaul's number 3. Less than 2025, but still number 3 for me. I think there's a world where if we picked our starting just 11, flat 11, there's a world where Pedri and Valverde start together. 100%. I would be comfortable with that. I would be comfortable with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so Valverde is number 2, but it's bro, if you had him number 1, I don't even even if you're I know we said Pedri this, Pedri that, Valverde's impact for Real Madrid, he's probably the only one, in my opinion, who deserves to be in the best 11 of La Liga. I don't know if there's anybody else, in my opinion.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. 1,000%. I'll hold
on. All right.
And we'll see when we get to the end. You'll see what I'm talking about. Valverde number 2, Pedri number 1.
All right. I'm gonna say. So, yeah, the only one. We'll get to that later. So I had Fede more as a CDM, but I'm gonna have to bump him to CM, which means my third is now gonna become my first out, and that's Javi Guerra. He's my first out now.
Good shout.
So that means I have Fede as third. I think he's been a freaking beast. I just think CM, if you're talking 8s, is stacked. The top is stacked. But Fede, I got nothing bad to say about him. He's arguably been Madrid's player of the season.
Yes.
Arguably been it. I think there's maybe max 2 other players who can enter the conversation. Fede's been incredible. 2, I have DePaul. I think he's been Atleti's best player of the season. I think he's been better than Julian. The most misprofiled
that's an
player in maybe
debate, by the way.
Him versus Julian, player of the season.
In terms of impact. Yeah, I don't know, man. I rate both heavily, but again, that's just like it's a different.
It's 1 and 2. The point is Griezmann's not in there, and that's a problem, and that's why we didn't win the league. I just think people don't understand DePaul and think he's just like they actually think DePaul. This is funny. They think DePaul and Conor Gallagher are the same player. That's what the footballing public
Conor Gallagher's obviously better. It's just crazy.
You know how much I love Conor Gallagher.
Yes, Elijah.
Yeah, he's a little bit better at slide tackling and then, like going like this to the crowd. But when he's asked to actually hold on to the ball, I'm not so sure about that. Yeah, I think DePaul's been a freak. And then Pedri, despite DePaul being a freak, I still cannot put him above Pedri number 1 because Pedri, I think passing wise, they can go band for band. I really do think that. You could even give the edge to DePaul. But in terms of like ball progression, there's no debate. Pedri's miles clear of anything DePaul can do. And he might be the player of the season. So if he's going to be maybe the player of the season, surely he's going to be number 1 in his position.
Yep, agreed.
Yeah. I know Andre's doesn't have that much time left. So let's do attacking midfield. And then Andre, if you have to jump after that, the 3 of us can finish it off. But you should go first on Cam then.
All right. So on Cam, here's where it gets interesting for me, just because of where he's ended up playing at the end of the season. I feel like he's not really true a 10. But we'll get to that point because I've got a couple of hot takes here for my left wing player of the season.
We can bounce after your left wing.
Just fine drop. No. Okay. So for the 10, I will go third, second, first. In my number 3rd spot, I know you're gonna freaking hate this, Jack, but Antoine Griezmann. That man, I know as much as you hate him and consistency and how he should play, whatever it might be. For giving shouts to random ass Mallorca players, you gotta give Griezmann a little bit of credit here. So that's number 3.
All right.
Number 2, my man Isco, dude. Isco's been balling the fuck out for Betis. Like
number 2.
Yes, dude. What do you mean? He's a baller.
I got 1.
Really interesting.
I like that shout. I don't mind that shout at all.
Damn. Okay.
Actually, no. Who's you go? Finish. You go because if you have Isco at 1, I'm really curious.
Yeah.
Okay. I got Jude. I got Jude at 3.
Fair.
I got Sunset at 2.
Yep.
And I got Isco at 1.
Dude, we are on the same page, Jack. For the first time all show, bro.
Sunset's your 1? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's
goal scoring merchant.
Splitting hairs.
Goal scoring merchant. What do you think about that?
I don't know about that. I think for that specific team, since Iker Muniain in his prime, we haven't seen a really solid 10 for Athletic Bilbao.
I don't disagree with that though, but I think Bilbao needs that, bro. Who else is going to score the goals? Yeah. I mean, like Iñaki gets them when he plays against Barca and like Real Madrid, but like outside of that,
I expected a lot more from Nico, and we've talked about this time and time again. I rated him really highly, especially after coming off of the Euro campaign and the links to the Prem and all that shit. There was a lot of noise around Nico, so the expectation was really high. But yeah, I don't know. Sunset he's just one of those players that the way that Athletic Bilbao play, he's like a perfect Athletic Bilbao player. And after Iker Muniain left, I said that hole is going to be really, really hard to fill. Those shoes are going to be hard to fill. I mean, he was the institution, right? Like Iker Muniain.
Where is Muniain now? I have no idea what that dude is.
Did he not retire?
Argentina, right?
He's in Argentina.
Yeah, I have no idea where he is. I was like,
actually, he and the players have just gone on strike recently because they haven't been paid in a couple months. So that's your daily Argentine.
There we go.
That's your
great down here. I'm sure they'll win the Libertadores again this season. What did I want to say? Okay, I hear what you're saying, Sunset. Totally vital, but you could argue the only Cam who's more vital to their team is Isco.
That's a good point.
I mean,
true Cam. He's a true Cam.
He is a true Cam.
I was just saying,
and I love Isco. Yeah.
Okay, for my list, I got Jude 3. Jude deserves to be over there. I had Isco 2 behind Sunset for the only fact that Isco was hurt for half the season.
You know what?
So was Sunset
the first half.
So was Sunset.
Yeah, but Isco does do a lot for Betis. Don't get me wrong, and without him, we'd probably be back in that 11th, 12th spot. If Isco was healthy, I think we'd be confidently in 4th right now. For the whole season.
Do you guys beat Madrid in that second leg without Isco in the second half of the season? Because I don't think so. Bro, I'll be honest. I think Andre didn't want to put him at 1 because Isco was the one to score and like danced on their head a little bit. I think that's the only reason.
I love Isco, dude. I love Odegaard. I love
that was
Kubo,
surprising from Andre.
Yeah, he's my fourth. I don't know. He just didn't, especially compared to last season, right? I think that was like, holy shit, he set the bar up here. So that's the only split here.
He was a poor man Sunset last season. No bullshit.
Yes, bro. Yes. That's what I leave. That's my cue.
No, we're gonna do left wing really quick, but Elijah, I want you to finish your thought.
Sorry. Yes. Sunset, like you said, Bilbao. Very similar players in terms of importance for Betis and Bilbao, right? If Bilbao don't have Sunset, they're not finishing fourth, and Betis would instead, and vice versa. But I think Bilbao with no Sunset means a 6th or 7th place, because who else is going to score, like you said? I think Betis could have gotten away with Lo Celso for the whole season, because he did have a good first start of the season. If he had that number 1 midfield spot, we could have still been in around 5th or 6th, I think. So that's why I have Isco behind Sunset, because like 15 goals for Sunset, I mean, that's season changing for Bilbao, who have been arguably disappointing on the attacking front. Not arguably, very disappointing on the attacking front.
Disappointing.
Yeah, very, very. I think Isco, yes, it would have been a very big bummer to not have him at Betis, but I think we could have gotten away with it slightly. But I love Isco. I'm glad he's here, obviously. But yeah, number 2 is where I put him.
I got one stat, which I think this is why Isco's number 1. Real Betis, with and without Isco. Okay, we'll go without him first. 15 games played, 5 wins, 33% win rate. Real Betis with Isco, 21 games, 11 wins, 52%. He almost doubled their win rate when he plays. Same GA as Sunset, 7 fewer games. I rest my case. Isco number 1.
I feel like, though, like contextually, though, like Betis without Isco was also just Betis in the first half of the season. Like it wasn't just Isco. We also didn't have Anthony at the time.
Mid as hell.
Brought Kucha win, but yeah, mid as hell. So I wouldn't say it's just Isco, and I'm not trying to take credit away from my goat, but like thinking of it contextually, it was just we were also just really bad. Like we just didn't have anything going. And yeah, Isco being brought on helped a lot, but the rest of the team also just wasn't performing. After we also had just lost Fekir. We had a really shitty transfer window. So I love Isco, but I don't think it was just Isco,
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we're gonna have to let the
disagree.
People decide down below in the comments. Andre, I do want you to give your left wing, and then I know you got to bounce, check out of your Airbnb. So we'll let you go first here.
Appreciate it. All right, so we're gonna go 3rd, 2nd, 1st again. Number 3, Berenguer. Actually, I thought he was pretty solid. I know.
Whoa.
Hipster take. I know. I've really liked it. The moments that that I've seen from him, I rate him pretty highly. Like that dude, you could argue he's been one of the best players for Athletic Bilbao this whole season. The amount of times that he's played, that's a completely different, stat. Number 2, I'm gonna go Baena. Have to go Baena. And then number 1, Rafinha. I was waiting for you guys to see if I was gonna flip flop those two, but I didn't want to do it to y'all.
I really wanted you to make the case. I really wanted you to make the Baena.
I would have.
The reason why. No, here's the thing. When I made my list last night, I was like, honestly, Baena. I woke up this morning and I was like, dude, I gotta give my boy from Leeds a little bit of credit here. He was getting Ballon d'Or shouts. Yes, he was forced to play almost a different position at times. Sometimes in the midfield, he played as a 10 a little bit for you guys, which was really interesting to see. But what he's done, like body of work throughout the entire season, Baena to me stands out more as like he is Villarreal's 2nd best player after Ayosi Perez. But Rafinha, geez, dude, that guy's on a tear. Especially because compared to last season, and I already made my point earlier, but when everybody at Barcelona and in the Barcelona camp was like, yeah, Rafinha's just not a fit. Rafinha might be too big of a club for him. Rafinha might be out. He's the first one out. He's the scapegoat after Xavi. He turned that shit around and he literally shut every hater and talker in the world. So he's a boy.
I just love how Andre said I was drunk last night making my list, and then I woke up.
No.
Ball knowledge prevailed, and he put the proper one.
No, my Leeds. If he didn't play for Leeds, I might have, and I would have made a case for Baena.
Fair, bro. Fair. I like that.
I was trying to whip up the Baena argument deep in the lab last night. Not just,
That's what I'm saying.
Like we all were.
It's hard.
The formula wasn't coming together. Yeah.
But when he's on Atleti, he'll find a way. I fucking guarantee Jack will find a way, bro. Watch. Stay tuned.
If we win the league, he's the starting left wing. 100%. I don't even care what his goal contributions were in that case. Fair. Okay, so you got third. You had Berenguer, Baena, Rafinha.
Correct.
Damn, dude, I don't even know if Berenguer would be in my top 10, but
that's wrong Bilbao player.
Maybe that's disrespectful. I'd probably have him like 8. I'd probably have him.
Yeah, I was gonna say top 10 is like not top 10.
Top 10 is
but yeah.
There's a lot of players.
I mean, he's beneath Nico Williams. He's beneath.
Berenguer, like they play together. Actually, I mean, Berenguer will sometimes start in the left. Sometimes will start at the.
They interchange a lot. Yeah.
Playing.
Right.
He'll play on the right.
He'll be the striker a couple times too, because they just don't have a body.
Maybe that's why I like him, because he's so versatile and you can put him anywhere in the attacking 4. Let's just say. So.
Okay. He's good. It's just sometimes he has these moments where I'm like, bro, like how are you not? I don't know, man.
Bro, that's why you play at Athletic Bilbao.
Yeah, maybe, but like it's also like dude, like you could be so good, but again, actually like could be so good. It's just like sometimes it's not all the way there. But I respect the shot. The shot's not terrible.
All right, so we're down to 3 for the final positions here. I'll just say my left wing quickly. I have Javi Puado third, Baena second, Rafinha first.
Yeah.
Elijah, what you got?
I like it. I low key, bro. Like, damn, Puado is interesting because I feel like he also plays a number of positions up top. Half the time, it doesn't matter what you play. You just like get the ball up there, let that man do work. I still think, despite how he's kind of like the seasons he had. So here's where I was struggling. Did you guys think of Nico Pepe as like a right winger or a left winger?
Right wing.
All the way.
Oh, Adam, right.
Right wing all the way.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think, bro, in all honesty, I had the Williams brother. Nobody thought to put at left wing. That's my number 3. Not Nico.
Wait, you think Inaki Williams is the third left wing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the reason I say that,
games
bro,
does he have a left wing?
Not as many as he does like striker, but bro, I like Bilbao will move pieces around so much. I think Nico had a decent shot, probably my first one out. I think when I watch Iñaki and Berenguer play, again, when you watch them actually play eye test wise, they rotate, they switch quite a bit. And it's because they, like you said already, they don't have like, this is what they need, bro. They need to breed a striker in the Basque Country. I don't know what they're doing over there. Got to get a striker in, bro, at some point.
Yeah,
but Iñaki's not him up top. I've talked about that. I've shouted that from the mountaintops. I think he's for me better left winger, and I think that this position's also like interesting. Hearing Jack say Puado, I actually like Puado better. If I go back and redo my list right now, the other two are clear. In terms of which we talked about already. Yeah, Baena and Rafinha, and I think Baena around a better group of players will be very, very interesting next season. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, he's doing a great job at Villarreal already. Who I don't have bad players, but you know, it's not Atleti.
There's a slight level up that he will take, and like that, that's going to be really, really interesting to see what it does for not just his stats, bro, but just like how the world finally views this underrated player.
Yeah, definitely. For mine, okay, number 3. I feel like we're overlooking Vinny a little bit, and I don't like Vinny that much of a player, but I think he deserves the shout. I mean, yeah, he's up there. To not be considered, I think, would be a little blasphemous. Like, again, I don't particularly like Vinny, but he has the numbers to back it up. Yeah, but yeah, Baena 2,
in the league,
Rafinha 1,
12 and
11 goals, 7 assists,
4,
9. It's almost 20. It's almost 20 GA. It's not bad. Yeah, it's not
18.
bad.
I mean, Javi Puado's got 11 and 3 for Espanyol, so I'm comfortable with my pick. I'm keeping him there.
Fair.
Very fair. Yeah. And then I had Baena 2, Rafinha 1. I really wanted to put Baena 2. Like I when Jack had sent the text about Baena's a 10, or I'm sorry, Baena's left wing. I was in a heated discussion with my friends about where to put him because I really wanted him to be number 1 somewhere. But I had to leave him at number 2. Going to Atleti's going to be great. Once he gets there, he's going to make sure Atleti, he's going to bump them from 3rd to 3rd. It's going to be really good. And then but Rafinha number 1. So
plus one point in the table.
What a shot by Elijah. That's actually solid.
Samuel Lino or Conor Gallagher, those are our left wingers right now. Do you guys not understand what I'm saying? Samuel Lino and Conor Gallagher.
Lino's a hell of an athlete. I like Lino as an athlete. I mean, He's got the pace to go
only
up
the
and
guy
down.
could pass or shoot or do anything that a footballer needs to do. Yeah, he should honestly switch to track and field. I think he'd be better at that.
When
Okay,
you're saying
let's go
he's a good
right.
athlete, you know you have nothing there. He's a good
when you're
athlete,
like,
yeah,
he tries really hard. That's
he does. Good
else
personality.
is
Good
really
personality.
bad.
I like it.
Okay, let's go right wing. We'll do striker last.
Okay,
you got it.
At third, and this one, dude, I could not decide between second and third. Literally, it was just I was going back and forth. You can make the argument either way. Third, I have Nicola Pepe from Villarreal. Second, I have Inaki Williams. And first, I have Lamine Yamal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine's a little bit different.
Yeah. I have very similar. Third, I was a toss-up. Okay, I'm going to give it to Nicolas Pepe. But my first out, and it's time that his name got brought up. But Antony's got to be in the conversation. Now, yes, it's the second half. He's a second half season merchant, obviously. But he's had a fantastic second half of the season. I know people it's like partially a joke. So people, I feel like, still aren't giving him the credit. And they're kind of like, okay, well, it's still Antony. But he's been, both in European competitions and La Liga, a big reason why Betis were up until now in the Champions League, contention. But yeah, Nicolas Pepe, I think he's been fantastic. I think it's kind of the same boat as Antony. I think Nicolas Pepe had his moment. Unfortunately, it was a very negative moment. And now nobody kind of wants to give him the attention or light of day, no matter how good he is anymore. But he deserves the credit. I think number 3. Inaki 2, really the only bright spot of the true front attacking 3 of Bilbao, and he does the job that needs to be done there, thankfully, or else Bilbao wouldn't be there. Obviously, Sunset kind of whipped it out of nowhere, but Inaki's doing his good job too. And then Lamine, I don't even need to say anything for Lamine Yamal. I don't think you have to argue for Lamine Yamal being number 1. He's just that kind of guy.
Yeah, he is him. He is him. Guys, I got a new name to throw in here, number 3, that we haven't said yet. Okay. It's kind of crazy. Because this guy's backpacking his team to a top half of the table spot. Luka Bacchio's number 3 for me.
I couldn't put him in there.
Yeah, I had to, bro.
Understandable.
I think he's had a better first half of the season, but that again, I feel like Sevilla as a team collectively have gotten better, so he slightly shines less as the season has progressed. But in the first half of the season, they were dog shit, and he was legitimately the only one doing anything.
They went from dog shit to dog piss. They're still pretty.
Yeah, by Sevilla standards, that's true. But bro, there was a point where they were approaching the relegation battle, and at least now they're not in that.
I loved it. It's been a great season.
It's so embarrassing.
Everyone, all Betis fans in Seville are like, yeah, fuck those guys. By the end of the day, I still think he deserves a shout as someone who doesn't really care. And then number 2, Nico Pepe, for all the reasons you guys said, and number 1, my young goat, Lamine Yamal.
Okay, the reason I couldn't go Luka Bacchio is the same reason I couldn't go Antony. It's the half-season merchants. I mean, Antony's literally a half-season merchant because he wasn't here at the beginning of the season, so that one's a bit harsh. But I think both Luka Bacchio and honestly Rodrigo were so 10 times better in 2024 than in 2025. I don't even know how many goals Luka Bacchio has this calendar year. 2.
He's a top 10 scorer still in La Liga, despite that's how good his first half of the season was. I think that has to factor in, right? It's like he was that good that he still finished top 10 scoring.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't hate the shout. I just wish he would have kept cooking like he was early on. And then I think he would have replaced Nicola Pepe for me because Nicola Pepe had the injuries. But I think both Inaki and Pepe were consistent the entire time whenever they were available. Both of them I think Inaki probably has the most minutes played of any player in La Liga. The dude is just always available. Everybody gets rotated but him. It's kind of funny. But I wonder, and I know there are doubts about his ability, but I just wonder if Bilbao can build a striker in the laboratory and give Inaki a proper target man. I wonder what his numbers would be. That's the thing to watch next season. I wonder if he's going to take a step up. I don't know what's going to happen with Nico. Is Nico going to stop being a fraud? I mean, there's a lot of things that could factor into Inaki having better numbers next season. But Lamine, bro, absolute lock for number 1, top 3 Ballon d'Or favorite. Yeah, it's not even a discussion. I'm glad nobody said. I thought somebody was going to say Giuliano Simeone, and I had
hell no,
ready to. Dude, that guy.
Gotta stay credible in some capacity.
We said athlete, right? We said athlete before. Throw him in that conversation too, bro.
Sprint merchant, man. I'm sorry. We're not winning anything with that guy as the starting right wing. Okay, let's go to striker. Andre texted me. He's got Mbappe first. I don't know what the rest of his list is, but he's got Mbappe first. Jose, why don't you get your top three? I think this position's pretty deep. I think actually you can make a lot of arguments here.
It is. Number 3, I'm going to give to the person that I think is actually the best player Atleti has, in my opinion, which is Julian. I think for someone who, and we talked about it before, but the pressure that the price tag creates, this man delivered on every level. And in the beginning of the season, he was doing multiple roles. Remember, Simeone didn't know how to line up with him and Sorloth. Didn't know how to do it, right? Like you just saw different variations between those two and Griezmann. And he kind of was playing on the outside, playing up top. And then finally, you just saw the impact. And I feel like he only got better as the season went on, at least up until the point where, what was the tipping point? Going out to Madrid and UCL? That probably was a tipping point of the season.
Correct. And then we we drew to Espanyol again.
Yeah. And maybe like the spotlight wasn't quite on him so much after that. And he kind of like just the conversation wasn't so much around him anymore. But I still think he's Atleti's best player, bro. And I wish we had him at Barca. No bullshit. So I would Julian 3, Mboobies 2, and Lewa 1. That's how I'm gonna do it, bro. I think Mbappe, here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. He didn't score against the top 8 opponent in La Liga until February. This season's tied for the worst scoring season he's had in his history since 2019. We're trying
a much harder league though.
Fair, right? But again, you could argue it's maybe a little more top heavy. It's a much harder league for sure, but there are definitely some opponents in here where that's where all of his production comes from, is dunking on the opponents he was supposed to dunk on. We're giving him an award for showing up to work on time. And I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I think at the end of the day, like he has to win the Pichichi to even be in contention for the number 1 spot, in my opinion.
All right, Elijah, what do you think about that? I want to hear yours.
It's interesting. No, I got like you said, this is a deep position, which is good. I mean, I love when the season has really good strikers to pick from. My honorable mention, first out, Budimir. I think that cannot go unnoticed. Yes, he a lot of penalties, but that's hard to do. That's hard to do. Yeah, but he deserves to be in. It's probably his best season for Osasuna, which says a lot. I mean, he's already Osasuna legend, and a big reason why they're sitting in 9th place right now is Budimir. Maybe I don't want to say the only, but one of the only reasons is Budimir. So number 3, I got to give it to Jose Perez. He's just been lights out, and it's a shame because I really wish he did good at Betis, but I wish he had this kind of season. And I think maybe if he stayed one more year, I think it would have happened. But it's fine. Jose Perez, I mean, best season of his career for a really, really good player. I think that can't go unnoticed. And again, another big reason why Villarreal have really turned it around is that Jose Perez just showed up to play, and he deserves all the flowers for it. I got Lua in 2. I don't really need to say much about Lua that hasn't been said over the past 15 years. I mean, Lua is just fantastic. And then Kylian Mbappe is my number 1. It's a good argument, and it had me shaking a little bit when I was considering mine. But Mbappe, I think, he's done his job well. Like, yes, he's doing his job, but he's done it very well. And he turned it around very quickly. When you think about the beginning of the season, the fraud watch was there for a lot of people. Obviously, it was going to turn around eventually, and he did it with really, really good numbers. And now he's one of the best strikers, if not the best striker in the league. So I think Mbappe has to go number 1 personally. But it's a toss up. I'm not upset at the Lua number 1 shout, but I think it's got to be Mbappe.
It's a biased take on my side, so I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna. I will say before I deliver my top 3, I think this is the one position that will probably look different based on how the last 2 games go. I think it's that close. And even Budimir included. I got him at 5. But I mean, dude, if he scores 3 more goals in the last 2 games and he's pushing 20 with Osasuna, at some point I have to be like, okay, it might have been 11 pens, but like you gotta put him in here.
Pens, bro. He's got a lot of pens.
Yeah. I think he's got 8.
Yeah, it's a lot of pens.
I have a stat for Budimir. He has 8 penalties, and he still has a lower conversion rate than Lewandowski and Julian.
What?
Despite 4 penalty kicks.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
So I don't even know what his conversion is if you remove those pens. But he does have 44% of Osasuna's goals, which is huge.
So they're creating a lot of volume if he's not converting that well. Anyway, good.
I don't remember this, but I think I saw his stats. I think he's had like 60 shot attempts. So it actually hasn't been that many. They just don't have goal scorers on the team. At third, I have Julian Alvarez. I think that Julian, he's got 25% of Atleti's goals in the league. Like you said, Jose, if he's not Atleti's best performer this season, then it is DePaul. I will still give it to DePaul, I think. But if Julian wins the award, I don't really think that there's any fuss there. I think what he's been able to do, despite Atleti's most important player, Griezmann, disappearing, and the price tag, I think those intangibles are things that won't get factored in enough when you're talking about how good Julian's been this season. He also was splitting minutes, coming off the bench a lot for the first 8 to 10 games because it was Sorloth and Griezmann up top. Then it was Griezmann, Julian. Then Simeone still probably doesn't even know what to do with our 3 kind of central attacking players. Correa's in there sometimes. I mean, it's absolute madness. There's no consistency, but Julian's been like a beacon of light in what was a very, very disappointing end to the season. In second, and man, I went back and forth on this a lot. I have Ayoze Perez. I have Ayoze Perez, bro. 18 goals in the league, 0 penalties. Is insane. Only 2 players in the history of Villarreal in the last 15 years have 18 goals in a league season. Sorloth last year, remember, he shamelessly stat padded near the end of the season, kind of like how he shamelessly stat padded this season at the end against Sociedad. He's just making people think that he's a little bit more impactful than he is in Gerard Moreno in 2021.
Moreno, Jesus, bro.
What a goat.
Wow. If Villarreal win one more game this season, it's their second best league points tally this century. They need one more win. They have Barca, and I don't remember who the last game is. So if they do it, it's their second best game this century, and the guy has 20 starts. I don't know how he's not top 3. I don't know how Ayoze Perez is not top 3. Also, the best conversion rate of any striker in the league.
Yeah, crazy first half of the season. First half of the season. And I don't think it's replicable. Like I don't know if we'll ever see something like this ever again.
I was about to ask, does he do it again next season? And I no, because one, Baeno's gone too, and he's obviously a big creator. It's I don't want to say one season wonder, but his best season of his career, it's never going to be matched 100%.
How many assists did Baena have specifically to Ayoze this year? I don't know, but it's got to be at least 4.
Has to be. And if not hockey assists,
hockey assists. Think about that too. There. It's going to be impossible to replicate. But number 1, I have Kylian Mbappe. 41% of Real Madrid's goals. I got Lua at 4th, man. My whole thing with Lua, I don't think he's essential. I know I'm being an ass, but I don't think he's essential. He missed 4 games in the league this season for Barca. Do you know what Barca's record was in those 4 games? They won all 4 of them.
Who were the opponents?
You got Ferrand. Well, I think one was Valencia, one was Mallorca. And then the last El Clásico,
it was like 5-1, like it wasn't even close. But again, I think I agree with you. I'm not going to disagree. I think the hardest thing that he has to do is score goals, him and Mbappe in the system anyway. And I think, bro, it's kind of crazy to actually think about it. If you think about who number one is between Lewa and Mbappe, it's almost like the one who doesn't win the Pichichi you could argue they fall out from like 1 to 3. In Lewa's case, I definitely see it. And in Mbappe's case, it's tough because he looks really good because the team was so mediocre this season. If Jude does what he did last season, or could you say
that he's really good despite the talent around him dying, essentially?
Yeah, yes and no. Like,
I can't say despite.
It can be. I'm not trying to undercut what he does. I think at the end of the day, he stat padded. If we're talking about like impact, football being a game of moments, and why they brought him in, they did not bring him in to score a hat tricks on Alaves. It's not why they bought him. right? It's not why they brought him in. They brought him in to do that against Barca, against Atleti. You know how many goals he had? One hat trick against Barca, which great. I love that. Borja Iglesias also got a hat trick against Barca, and one goal against Atleti in the 2 legs.
He hates you guys. That's why.
Fair. And one goal in the 2 legs against Atleti. Again, did not score against a top 8 opponent until February. So, and maybe it's the first season, whatever. Like, I'm sure he'll turn it around, but all of that context factors in heavily. Like, it's just, again, I think he did well against who he was supposed to, but there were more than a few moments he missed out on against the competition he was actually purchased for.
Think about it like this, dude. The guys who are giving Lewandowski service, I feel like a lot of intangibles are separating these guys for me. It's Ayoze Perez because of just the unbelievable efficiency in which he's playing in. The fact that Villarreal are about to have a historic season, like that has to count for something. Julian, I think with his argument, it's like, again, you're talking about the guy who was supposed to be not even Robin, Batman. Griezmann was supposed to be Batman, and Julian was supposed to be Robin, and Batman retired, and now, Julian's trying to put on the bat suit and see if he can do it. You look at Lewandowski, he has 2 of the top 4 Ballon d'Or favorites giving him service. 2 of the top 4 Ballon d'Or favorites. None of us had Rodrigo in our top 3 right wingers for La Liga, and rightfully so. He's not even top 6. In Vinicius, I think Elijah had him 3rd. I had him at 4th. But the talent around him has failed Mbappe, and I think he's still done everything he could do to have Madrid second in the league and challenging late, which honestly they had no business doing with how many freaking injuries they had. Yeah,
respectfully, that you make that same argument for Mbappe coming into this Real Madrid team, that he had 2 of the top whatever Ballon d'Or candidates in Vinny and Jude giving him the ball. Fetty probably in that lineup as well, somewhere in there. Rodrigo being the best talent Jude had ever seen. I think it's all about timing and the context around that. Hindsight's 2020 now, saying, yes, bro, Lamine Yamal and Rafinha, we're just feeding this man, and that's why he feasted. But again, it's situational context applies. I think you can make an argument for either one.
I feel like with Mbappe too, like it's all relative to Mbappe. Like if any other striker is sitting here with 28 goals for Real Madrid, I think we wouldn't have to have this argument about it. But the fact that it's Mbappe, I mean, 28 goals in your first season at Real Madrid in a subpar Real Madrid side, I feel like I can't knock too much from him in that capacity. Bellingham still had a good season. Vinny still had a good season. Yes, they weren't the best seasons, but I still think Mbappe deserves his flowers at the number 1 spot because it's been still very, very good. And like I said, if it was any other striker than Mbappe, who has long been a top striker in the world, we wouldn't be having this conversation and they would have be number 1. But the fact that he could be getting 35 plus in a season with the right team, I can understand it in that capacity, but he still had a really good season. And in my opinion, the best striker season in the whole of La Liga.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting because I feel like next season will say everything about this year. I feel like next season will be like, okay, if Mbappe is in the team of the season, then and he balls out next season, it's like, we knew it. It was because the wingers failed him. There were too many injuries. Again, he did everything he could. It's like comparing Luca Bacchio and Lo Celso, right? It's like Luca Bacchio's getting his despite having no help. Like he has Ruben Vargas, respectfully, as like his second best option and his attacking partner. You look at Lo Celso and it's like, okay, he was doing really well, but the team wasn't doing well. And as soon as, the big boys came back to the squad, Jesus Rodriguez gets promoted, Antony signed, Cucho signed, Isco comes back, dude's on the bench. And we haven't seen that production again. So what is it with Mbappe? I'm banking more on the fact that he just had a disastrous season from his wingers in Vinicius and Rodrigo. I don't think anybody could have foreseen them doing this bad. But the haters will say maybe that's Mbappe's fault. That's the counter to that, is he broke the team.
I would agree with
the fabric of the team.
He's not a striker at the end of the day. I think if Xabi Alonso comes in and finds a way to add a piece that allows Mbappe to be the best version of himself, which is not the striker position, I will concede every argument I've made today. He's just not a striker, in my opinion. I think he's a left winger, which means somebody has to go. That'll be an interesting storyline. But I don't think we have this argument again very often about him being in the best striker conversation, because that's just not him.
Last question here. What are the streets saying if Ayoze Perez lands in the team of the season?
They're probably gonna say, "Who the hell is that?" Because nobody watches La Liga. Like, unfortunately, bro, that's just
that's probably true.
That's how that.
What about the La Liga streets? What are the streets of Valencia saying if Ayosi Perez gets in that team this season?
How are there not shouts like for Ayosi Perez to get picked up by like some other European giant somewhere? You know, like that's what should
happened too late. It happened too late.
Yeah.
If Ayosi Perez had the season 4 or 5 years ago, yeah, 100%. But it's just too late now. He's had his time. He had his opportunities and didn't take them, and now he's taking what he has left. So that's why I don't see a European powerhouse picking him up anytime soon. Just because if he does it for one more season, maybe.
Yeah.
After just this season, I can't see it.
Efficiency is so underrated though, too. And I don't know, man. And again, I'm not saying it's a starter somewhere as a European giant, but to be able to call upon like a sub 30, 31-year-old on the bench who's just highly efficient. I mean, I go back to guys like Sorloth and the clutch factor he has and what that offers to the team for Atleti, right? I mean, there's just a ton of value there. So I don't know. It sticks out to me.
Think about it from Villarreal's standpoint too. Why would you ever sell Ayosi Perez? Because I guarantee you his wage is not that expensive. You bought him for $4 million.
And if you turn that around for like 4x, 5x, you wouldn't do it?
I don't think you would sell him for less than 35 because of what he does.
You're about to sell Baena, though. Like, you're going to make your profit.
Exactly.
That's the context. That's the context. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, and probably there's a point where either Akumac or Pino has to go too. So I don't think you sell the guy who's 31 and is cooking because there's not even that much resale value. And dude, if Perez gives Villarreal 11 to 15 goals per season for the next 3 years, that's one of the best buys they've ever had.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
You got to milk that flower for everything it's worth, man. You can't.
Should have been for Betis.
Should have been for Betis. Yes.
Dude, you could have had Lo Celso and Perez on the same team.
Would have been wild.
The streets would have been quaking in fear. Okay, guys, any closing thoughts before we end the video? I feel like we had some pretty solid top threes here.
Yeah, this was a good, I was told 15-minute session, turned into hour 40, and for the better. For the better. It was good.
That tends to happen on the show. We're like, hey, I think we can get this in 25. And then I look up and it's been an hour and a half. And I'm like, we shouldn't have talked
when we got to right back at like the 37th minute, I was like, okay, I can see how this is going.
And by the way, guys, doesn't have ball day in the time.
I was going to say that I need the comments to actually blame my man, the Madridista, in this chat because like there's no way you exclude that player, bro. He's so good,
dude. I might even have to chop this up into like 4 different clips, like offense, midfield, defense. I don't know, because this is an absolute beast and a half. But guys, we're going to go ahead and end the episode there. Those are your top 3 position rankings for La Liga, just La Liga in the 24-25 season. Another reminder, we're going to have our team of the season. So that will be everybody comes together and we have our picks. There will be a bit more positional flexibility, you could say, in that video. So that will be dropping soon on the channel. And of course, we have a bunch of transfers that are already happening with La Liga sides. Real Madrid are already confirmed with some people. Atleti seem to be next up with guys like Alex Baena. We're going to have videos planned for that as well. I'm not sure what style that's going to be, but we are very much looking forward to that. And of course, we have team grades for every single team and how they did in this year across all comps. So I think all those videos are going to be really, really exciting. And you guys have that to look forward to. In order for you to not miss that, so you know exactly when they drop, make sure you subscribed. Turn on notifications if you could as well. Drop a like in the video if you enjoyed. And if you're listening on streaming platforms, please give the podcast a 5-star rating. And of course, I want you guys to welcome Elijah to Lengua de la Liga down below in the comments and follow him in his YouTube channel. I'll put the links to everything down below in the description of this video. We appreciate you guys for watching or listening, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.